Cool. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming out to this webinar right here. So we're going to be doing a triangle in a second, but before we do that, we're just going to do a super quick warm-up, which is a leg entry we always do. This is a warm-up we do in the class all the time, and it's just something you should be practicing even if you can't get in the gym. So just go ahead and get a partner. If you got a partner, go ahead and sit up like this, and you're going to face your partner. Now, the trend lately has been there's been leg entries from the outside, but traditional jiu-jitsu is inside is always better. So, you can learn the trick stuff, but generally speaking, you always want to be on the inside. So this is a warm-up we do almost every day in my class. And what it is, step one, you're just going to pick a side. And I got the inside control, so I'm the one shooting the leg entry right here. I'm going to pick a side. I'm going to just pick this side for you to see. This is, oh, by the way, this is my son, Francisco. You say hi. He's helping me today. Hi. All right. Cool. So he's sitting here like this. He's a white belt, no stripes. He just started a little while ago. So I'm going to pick a side. And what I'm going to do is the side that I pick, the second I choose it, this leg's going to go flat. So I'm going to pick a side, leg's going to go flat. And at the same time, I'm going to grab behind the leg and behind the knee right here. Just right behind the knee, nice grip, right behind the leg. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a side, flat, and then I'm going to pull him into me as I butt scoot in like that. So I'm pulling and scooting in, and then I'm going to pinch my knees and place the foot on the hip, just like this. So this is called an open entanglement. It's not like my legs aren't crossed like in a 50-50 or anything like that, but you're just going to come to your basic ashi and then just control the leg. A big part, just like in all jiu-jitsu, leg locks are not like a mystery. It's all about control. So if you can, there'll be times where I'll just ride somebody here the whole time, just practicing my control. So the drill will look like this. You're going to sit up, and then we'll just go like 5 and 5 maybe, and just get our bodies a little bit looser. Can we, step one, pick a side. Leg goes flat, control the leg, control the knee, scoot in, and then boom, close it tight. Pinch the knees, just like on an arm bar. You want to pinch your knees nice and tight and close this. If your legs are all open, he's just going to kick right out. So I'm coming here. You don't want to come too far where it becomes reaping. So foot just right on the hip, knees pinched, and then maintaining that control. So pick a side and then go. Go ahead and start doing that for the warm-up. If you have any questions, just raise your hand and I'll call on you. But go ahead and just get our bodies a little bit loosened up like that. I'm going to put you on gallery view so I can start seeing you. If you don't have a partner, this is what it'll look like too. Because I just train with my kid. But it's just going to be pick a side, boom, drop, and then you drop down to this elbow, and you're just boom, coming in, and then close your legs nice and tight. And what you want to get is these muscles strong. Just like when you finish an arm bar, you don't want to have your legs all dangling out like that. You want to have everything pinched in nice and tight, elbows in. So it's going to be, if you're by yourself, it's going to pick a side, boom, butt scoot in, and then close just like that. And so this is the most like basic leg entry, and it's just one you want to get good at and you want to get quick. You should be practicing this just like you practice your Kimuras and your arm bars. It's just like fundamental jiu-jitsu. So let me see. I like the baseball bat over there. That's a nice little... Working on that. Very good. I think that May and Julio, that looks good. Got the bros over there. If you have any questions, just raise your hand or anything like that, and I'll just leg flat. Yeah, and so as the leg goes flat and you pick a side, you're controlling the leg right there. So you're controlling the leg at the same time, and then boom. And then go ahead and switch it up if you haven't had a chance yet. Knees pinched together. And then here, Francisco, come back right here. This is just a warm-up to get our bodies loose. Come back here. We're gonna sit here. And then, oh, you okay? I'll go slow then. So we're gonna come here, and then boom, nice and tight. And then just with the control, just making sure this leg can pinch here, and you can also play with this leg, moving it up and controlling the leg there to keep the hips in control. So this is one way to, the only time I would open this leg would be to elevate this leg and control the hip. So I'm just coming back and forth like this. The other side, yes, some people are freezing. Pick the other side, boom, leg goes flat. So I'm inside control here, controlling both ankles. Another thing I do when I'm drilling is I always start with both ankles controlled like this. That way I'm not giving my tell. I'm not just like holding one ankle and then they know what I'm going for. So I start controlling both legs. Boom, leg goes flat. As I control the knee and the ankle, slide right in, boom, and then close that. Like I said, this is something I practice like all the time as part of my warm-ups. Give you one more minute, and then we'll go to our technique. I'm already sweating just from yapping. All right.
I already did it.
Yeah, now we're going to do the triangle next, okay? Give me a thumbs up if you think you got it. We'll go right into the technique. All right, cool. So what we're going to be learning today is a Nogi, like failed triangle. And I got tiny legs, but I throw a lot of triangles. And my legs they're short and they're chubby. So it's just a bad recipe for actually locking it up. But I still believe in my triangles and I still finish them. The thing is, I just have to do a little bit more work. So we're gonna play with some wrist locks from when you have somebody in a sloppy triangle. Just some wrist locks to help make them think about the wrist, and then you can eventually tighten up your triangle if you don't finish these wrist locks. So just a heads up, wrist locks, they're seen as dirty, and people judge them, which is cool, because if you throw one when you're rolling with someone and they're judging, they're spending mental and emotional energy judging the lock. They're not thinking about winning. They're just like, oh, this guy's messed up, or oh, this is dirty. And so while they're thinking about that, you're thinking about victory. So just on like the psychological warfare alone, they're cool. You know, the main thing you want to do is when you throw them, just throw them with caution. Just like when we throw arm bars or leg locks, we're not just yanking them super hard. It's all about control. So the principle is you want the wrist to be gooseneck. So anytime I see I have an arm isolated, so basically it's trapped there and something's gooseneck, you can throw a wrist lock from any position. And even if you don't finish it, you'll create a reaction, and then they're running, they're on the defense, and you're in offense, you're chasing them. So even if you, no matter what the hip position at, sometimes I'll just throw a little wrist lock, I'll see somebody there, and I'll go for it, and immediately they withdraw and panic, and then suddenly I'm winning. Even if I'm losing on points, I'm winning the fight at that moment, because I'm attacking them and they're running away. So come back here, Francisco. So basic Nogi setup, and if you can't hear me, just tell me. I'm new to the Zoom teaching, or you can't see something, but they're going to be postured up on your belly, but strong on your knees. And then they're going to be like posture here, right? So I like to come when somebody's postured up, closed. I'm in the closed guard. I'm going to come underneath the wrist right here with these like little L hooks, and I'm going to pop it up just like that. And what I'm going to do is I like to control and move them around. What I'm going to do is just punch one across. Sometimes I'll punch it above. Sometimes I'll punch it there. I really don't care. But ideally, here's a little bit better. But even there, you still throw it. So I come here. Boom, and we're gonna get to here. So if you look here, I don't have a good triangle locked up. My legs are kind of like sloppy. I can't finish it like that, but that's okay. The main thing is I'm gonna keep controlling the posture. I don't want them to win. I wanna keep controlling the posture. What I'm gonna do here now is sometimes I'll start working the arm over, even if I don't have the triangle fully locked up. I'll just punch it over on principle, because everybody knows I'm trying to finish the triangle. And when I'm pushing it over, they like to bring it back. So we get into this battle. And you could do this when your triangle's fully locked up. Like if it's fully locked up and then you're not finishing yet, you could still get in this battle. Come back up. And I'm sliding, I'm pushing it over, they're going back. I'm pushing it back over, they're fighting it back. Finally, when I go to push it over, what I'm gonna do is and he goes to bring it back, I'm gonna trap it right in the middle. I'm gonna trap it right in the middle of my body. Once I have it here, I'm gonna gooseneck this wrist, and look, it's trapped right there. I'm gonna come right here on both and get the tap. So just like that, we're gonna go one more time from the beginning. Come back up on your knees. He's postured up hard on my belly. I'm gonna, boom, come up with my elbows underneath. I'm gonna punch it across and boom, bite down. So even if I don't have it locked up tight, I'm okay. We're gonna get in this battle of, I push it over, he slides it back. I push it over, he slides it back. Eventually I push it over, when he brings it back, boom, I trap it here, right in the middle. I gooseneck it, and then sit up and finish both. And I'll show you one more bonus lock from that one when they defend that one. Any questions? And like I said, these will be pretty fast. You'll isolate the arm, you'll apply it, and either they'll tap or they'll pull out. They'll either tap or they'll fight out. And then while they're taking triangle or wrist lock, boom, you slap on your traditional triangle, or I'll show you the counter. All right, go ahead and start practicing now for like a minute or two. I'll start watching. Any questions you have, just raise your hand and I'll answer them. Yeah, go ahead.
This guy Justin, I like this guy a lot. I could Hey, Justin, question. So when you line up his forearm, like you get ready to do the wrist lock, do you compress him by pulling him back with your eyes into you?
Yeah. So like always, like anytime you're attacking these things, I can't do it with my son because they'll just kind of flop over. But you're always controlling the posture, right? It's a posture war when you're in triangle. So when you're throwing it and you're coming here, they're always trying to come posture up and bring their arm back to the other side. We got one more move to share. I'm just answering the question. Right? So I'm always like yanking down the posture because what you do is at all wrist locks, you can't really do it while they're straight. You need the arm bent and you need to like trap behind the elbow, right? So the principle is you need to get behind the elbow somehow, and then you need to gooseneck a wrist either way, right? And so once you're here, so what I'm doing is I want them hunched over and I want this arm control later. So when I'm pushing it over, they're bringing it back, I slide it over, and they're trying to bring it back, and then finally but the whole time I'm controlling the posture, and it gets stuck right there, and then boom, that's just your chance. And again, it's kind of like you're setting it up like in boxing. I'll throw paw that one out and then make them respect that. Then I throw the two. And it's the same thing. Especially like if like they're a white belt and I'm really working this move and I'm like drilling it, I'll find somebody that I'm a little bit better than, and I'll just exaggerate pushing it over and then watch them bring it back, and I'll push it over, not even trying to finish it, trying to go and bring it back. And I'm like Pavlov ringing the bell. And then boom, once I can feel how fast they're doing it, then I'll just boom, trap it and hit it. Does that answer your question? All right, cool. Let's see. Cash, that looks good. I saw that one over there. I like all these solo guys. Sorry, I didn't think of how to do this drill solo-wise, but just visualizing stuff in your head like this is very powerful. So even if you don't have a partner to practice with, just like my first instructor was all about training in your head, just like running through stuff. Of course, you're not going to get as good as somebody drilling it, but you can still imagine like the action reaction. And then that's the game. That's the mind game, is just creating the action reaction. Let's see. Brandon, Mary, you guys good? All right, cool. I'm just kind of creeping in, looking at everybody drilling it right there. Go like 30 more seconds and then we'll switch it up again. Okay, yeah, go potty in it. We'll show one more move after this and you'll be done, okay, son? If you haven't switched, go ahead and switch now. And then the tricky part when you get into wrist lock throwing mode is don't forget about the triangle. That's your position of control. So the fundamentals of jiu-jitsu is position before submission. So if you get all caught up on the wrist lock and then you get lazy with your triangle and your triangle is no longer a threat, they're going to back right out. So you always have to be threatening the triangle even as you're throwing the wrist lock. They have to respect it. Kind of like if I want to hit somebody with my two, if they're not afraid of my jab, it's going to be really easy because they only got to worry about one problem. But if I can make them scared of this too, then this one's going to be harder to see coming. So it's these little setups, these little patterns that we're building in them where they're pulling their arm across, worried about the triangle, and then boom, hit it just like that. I'll give you one more minute to practice, the other partner to practice, and then I'll show you what they do, what they're most likely do to defend this wrist lock. And then just like how we did that leg lock entry warm-up, just the double wrist control triangle entry is another good warm-up. Like if you're just drilling, that's just a really good triangle entry. It's just controlling the wrist. And then when I was a wrestler, I was always about wrist control. 30 more seconds. Ahmed, thank you for letting me go first. Very good. All right, go ahead and finish up your last rep and then face the camera so I know you're done. And then just give me a thumbs up if you think you got it. If you have any questions, just put your hand up or unmute yourself and ask away. And then I'll show you the kind of. So in wrestling, they call it chain wrestling. You know, you're just like setting up, like when you roll with a high level black belt, they will touch you here, touch you there, and make you react in certain ways. And we're just slowly putting you in a position to get you with the move. And that's what I want you to be thinking out here is like, you have your triangle, now you have one wrist lock. And then now we're going to look on one more thing. All right, Francisco, come back over here.
And then we done.
Yeah, then we'll be done after this. So let's make sure I got a good angle. So again, we're going to come here, stand your knees strong, nice and strong. So I'm going to boom, control the wrist, punch, and bite the triangle right here, right? You okay? What happened? Oh, your ear? Okay, cool. Not child abuse, don't worry. All right, so I'm here, I got my triangle, right? And I'm going for this wrist lock. So I've done the action, reaction. I tried to push it across. He brought it back. And then boom, I got the arm controlled so he can't pull it out. And then I got a gooseneck and I go to come here. What they do most of the time is they take their free hand that's out of the triangle and they bring it over. They bring it over to like try to protect it, right? So they'll just reach around and they'll grab the triangle. What you do when they do that is you control the back. I'll scoot over so you can see here. So what I'm doing is when he protects this arm here and tries to like push it back, because like I'll come here and I'll gooseneck and they'll start like punching it away. What I'm gonna do is with this outside hand, I'm gonna come behind the wrist here and I'm just gonna gooseneck this one right here. And this one's, again, it's not the best control, but I'll either get a really quick tap or I can immediately start coming back to the triangle and working the triangle. So one more time, come back on your knees. Is boom, I have wrist control, I throw the triangle. Boom, he comes here. Action, reaction, I'm pushing it, bringing it back. And then when I think I got it, I go for the first one and they start to defend it. The outside hand reaches around. What I'm gonna do is this hand, same side hand's gonna come behind the tricep and then immediately I'm just, boom, pushing this wrist right here. And then you either get a quick tap or he re-palms out and I'm just dragging it back over and then working that triangle. So it's just like a little sequence you could be playing with. And again, it's anytime you see an arm isolated with the elbow bent, you gooseneck it just like that. Any questions? One second. So let's just see if anybody has any questions because I might have to show them and then you can be done. Any questions or anything like that? All right, let's go ahead and give it a go.
So I don't have.
You can be done. Can you say bye-bye?
Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, Sonny. So again, it's just, they're pushing it over. So now I'm the person being triangled, if you're still watching. So they're being triangled, you're pulling it back, and then boom, you start to get that wrist lock hit. You immediately start fighting with your free hand. And then that's the one where you just grab the tricep. And I've actually been hit with both of these. So I know, and I got pretty loose wrist. But they're fast. And again, anytime we're throwing on a wrist lock, we're never slamming it. With all submissions, if you have to slam a submission, that means you don't have the control to begin with. And so just always be very loose because the wrists are very delicate, especially everybody's on computers too much or on their phones. So carpal tunnel's brewing. Everybody's got weak wrists already in our society. So that's why wrist locks are cool though too. And then after your last rep, go ahead and bring it up. And then so just to kind of one more thing, for like one more minute is the wrist locks are just, they're just part of the attacks, you know? So everybody's really good at like, especially at our gym, like fundamental triangle attacks and then fundamental triangle defense. And just by throwing in like a few little threats to the wrist, you'll either surprise them and get a quick tap, or you're gonna make them think about the wrist and then you go boom, right back aggressive with that triangle. But if you're not constantly threatening the triangle and making them respect that, like none of that trick stuff works. Like trick stuff doesn't work if your fundamentals aren't sound. So like always just remember that, like anytime you're working on this stuff, you're being tight with your hips, you're constantly dominating their posture. You want them hunched over, their spine curved, so they're just weak. You know, like if you're gonna lift something heavy, you need your spine straight. So if their spine's totally straight, like don't waste your time throwing a wrist lock. Like you don't have the control yet. You need them hunched over and you need them trying to escape. And then if these principles are maintained, then start thinking about throwing a wrist lock. And that's kind of like people think, oh, I got a wrist lock, I could just throw it for anywhere. But fundamental jiu-jitsu is what's important, controlling the posture, dominating the hips, you know, all these things. And then once you get that down, then you can start playing with little tricks like that. But if your triangle's not scary, like they're not going to be worried about anything else. Any other questions before I wrap it up? If we have time at the end, maybe I'll teach you guys a little hits and Gracie breathing if we have time for that later on. But I'm gonna pass it over to Ahmed. Thank you very much, everybody. practice it. And if you have any questions, just hit me up on Facebook. I'm Furby McBuster. I'm in the Half Gracie book group. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Yo,
What's up, Dog?
what's up, man? How's it going? Got everybody? Can you see me?
Thank you, Jesse. Very nice, man.
Okay, you guys got to be patient with me because this is my first time using Zoom stuff. So I stole my wife's work laptop, and we're gonna try to make it happen here. All right, and I got my monster right here. His name is Eduardo. I call him Lalo, though, aka Lalo. And I know we don't look alike, but it's like my brother for real. So, and I want to say thank you to Eduardo for letting me use the gym because I didn't have mats at home. So it's good to be back in the gym, back on the mats. I got a lot of good memories here. I remember I slammed Newton on his head right over there. So, you know, is he here today? No. Okay, so we're gonna get right into it. Okay, so obviously I haven't been able to train much jiu-jitsu, but I've been keeping jiu-jitsu on the mind, right? So I've been thinking about this new concept for getting a knee ride, because knee ride is my first thought, my first initial attack that I like to do once I get to once I pass guard and get to side control. So when we have gi on, I already have a move that I do like every time, and it has a very high success rate. But I was thinking about having like a similar move for Nogi, and this is what I came up with. So let me know how you like it. All right, so it's just concepts, and just give you something to think about. All right, so can you guys hear me? See me okay? Just give me like a thumbs up. I'm gonna switch to gallery. Yeah, okay. So when you're contemplating on going the knee ride, right? What's their best defense for that? 9 times out of 10, they're gonna bring the knee, the elbow, so they're gonna try to close off that space, right? So a lot of times when you're here and you pop up to go to knee ride, he's already got it closed off, and he's shutting that down, right? So like I said, in gi, I have a move that I use that really prevents him from being able to do that. But it's Nogi is different because you don't have the cloth to grab, right? So for Nogi, we're gonna do it like this. So right. So we're in here. We're in side control, right? I'm using my underhook, and I got a really good clamp on his shoulder. Here, right? So what I'm looking to do is I want to keep pressure, right? And I'm gonna pull him into me. So I don't want to pull him up. I want to pull him towards me, right? So come here. I'm pulling his back off the mat, right? And you can get a lot of good power from grabbing that shoulder. Lalo, he's a big boy, and if I can grab him up like that, I can grab anybody, you know, my size or smaller. So I'm coming here, got a good clamp. I'm using this hand to post, and I'm drawing him into me. I want to keep some good pressure. So I'm like smearing. I'm not just popping up. I'm smearing him back towards me, right to this position. Okay, so when it happens, you see I bring my knee up here, right? So I'm here, and when I draw him back, I bring one leg up, and that's he's gonna hit my shin like a wall, right? That's gonna be what stops him right there. So what's that doing is when he turns on his side here, now that wall that he was creating before to block my knee right, now that wall is on the floor, on the mats now. So it's giving me access to get my knee up on his body, and I can just drive him back down, right? So it's gonna look like this. We come in here, we already passed guard, so we're in side control. I'm using a good hook here. My hand, I'm gonna post, and again, I'm not coming up, dragging him back this way, and bring my knee up. Here, okay? Try not to detach so much, kind of stay in control, stay on top of him here. So now with my knee, all I have to do is, now that I have him up, I'm gonna drive him back down to a flat back. So I drive him back down with my knee, right? And I keep my hand on the underhook, and I establish control to get my 2 points for the knee ride. All right? In here, I'm keeping control. He's gonna be bucking, going crazy. I still got control of the shoulder. Here. Okay, show you one more time and we can get some reps in. We're here, we pass guard. Boom, I get a good lock on the shoulder here. I'm gonna drag him up. Right away, I bring that knee up before, he can't really block. He comes here, even if he blocks, right? I mean, even if he's bringing his knee up here to cause some traffic, my knee can always hit his torso here. So I'm in here, and now all I have to do is drive my weight onto him, and I'm gonna pop my other leg up into the knee ride position. Drive here, hold him for 3 seconds, right? And you get my points. Okay, so now we get with your training partner. Let's get some reps in. Yeah, when you're pulling him up, try to get him as much on his edge as possible. Yeah, you really want to have him all the way up. Not if he's just halfway, you're only pulling his shoulder up all the way. Right? You want to really have him completely on his edge when you pull him up there. Yeah, just like that. Nice, Mary. Yeah, so it's a little bit more of a like kind of snappy, more like aggressive attempt at a knee ride. So you have to kind of manhandle him a little bit, yank him up out of position because he's comfortable there. He's waiting for you to he's waiting to see what you're going to do next because he's already disappointed in himself because you passed his guard. So now he's just thinking about his next defense or his next escape. All right, switch top to bottom if you haven't already. It's a hot day. It's a nice day. It's a nice day. Again, yeah, you really want to pull him on his side so that his hips turn, right? So when you pull him up, his hips, this knee has to hit the mat. You can't pull him up, right? So if I'm here and I pull him up and that knee doesn't hit the mat, I'm not turning him enough. So I really need to be aggressive and really turn him hard so that when his shoulders turn, his hips turn with him, right? I don't want his hips to be still vertical while his shoulders are turned the way I want them to. Okay, time. Good work, good work. Any questions so far? Raise your hand if you got questions. Okay, good. Let's keep up. Oh, we got Lulu. Got a question?
Yeah, one question. So after you have the knee ride, do you need to put your chest on his chest in order to keep the control, or you lift your chest up?
It's hard to, unless, I mean, I don't know how flexible you are. I'm not flexible enough to have my knee here and my chest on him, right? So what I like to do is when I'm in a knee ride, so when I'm in here in knee ride, sometimes I'll cradle the head, and I'll cradle that shoulder again, and I'm kind of just really pulling him into my knee to make him uncomfortable and make him forget about escaping. I just need him to be still for 3 seconds, right? So if I'm like all the way down here, especially somebody big and long, a lot of times he can just grab me and then, yeah, he just roll me over. Okay, so I don't want to connect myself that much, but I really want to make it uncomfortable for him. So I'm pulling his head, keeping his head off the mat, and I'm keeping his shoulder off the mat, and I'm just pulling him into my my knee pressure. All right. Okay, so next move, we're gonna use the same setup, but we're gonna use the setup to get to mount, right? So same exact setup, but now instead of going to knee ride, we're gonna get greedy and we're gonna go straight to mount. All right, so in here, grab the shoulder, I'm pulling him up. So now when I drive him back down, right, I'm not driving this knee on him. I want to drive this knee all the way to the mat, right? So I drive this knee all the way to the mat, and then I follow the momentum, and I whip my foot down and slap the mat. Right? You know when it's effective when you hear the mat slap like that, right? So we're here. So I drive all the way to the mat, and then with the same momentum, slapping him here, and then this side knee collects, and I collect everything really tight for good control from mount. Okay. One more time. Inside control. All right, I want to keep him guessing. Maybe I'm pretending like I'm gonna attack and pretending like I attack. So let's go and pull him up here. I'm dragging, I'm pressuring this knee all the way down to the mat. And then I slam my foot down. Other knee goes down and I get control for the mount. Okay, let's get some reps in. 1, 2, 3, break.
Ahmed, I had a question.
Yo.
Do you worry that your foot's gonna get caught in like a quarter guard or a half guard as you're whipping it?
No, because yeah, so when I'm here, right, it's important to do that those steps as a 1, 2. Don't do them together. Because when I'm here, when I drive it all the way to the mat, my foot is still on the other side of his body. So it's still hooking and it's still trapped on his hip, right? And then it happens real fast, right? It doesn't really give him enough time to catch that. He's trying to catch my toes, and his half guard is not likely, all right? If done correctly, very low percentage of him catching your toes. Don't worry about it. All right, so I'll do it in real time so you can see. All right. Here. You can even get a little creative with that, right? You don't have to slam the foot immediately after the knee touches the mat, right? If you're a little, if you're apprehensive about him catching your foot, you can stall him out, you can wait, you can see what he's doing, and then you slam that foot. And as soon as you slam the foot, you got to get your other knee down, because one knee down is not going to get you points for mount. Got to have both knees down. Let's see. Yeah, good job, Brandon. Yeah, you're really using that hip. You're really using your hip to slam the foot. You're not just lifting your leg and kind of using like a rainbow motion with your foot. The force from your hip, it's what's turning that foot and slamming it down to the mat. So that's why I said you should hear the mat. You should do it hard enough so that you hear the mat make a loud sound every time. That should be your goal, to really make a loud sound with that mat. That's how you know you're really being explosive and aggressive with it. Nice. Okay. Everybody had a chance to try? Everybody good? So now, I'm running short on time, so I'm trying to move through pretty fast. I want to show a submission. All right, everybody good? Any questions about that one? Good. Okay, so now I can show one of my favorite submissions anytime I catch somebody and I have an underhook and they're on their edge that far. Sometimes you have an underhook and they'll turn into you for some reason and they'll give you that position where they're completely on their edge, right? So sometimes I'm in here and then he's already trying to turn into me and he kind of gives me this position. So just familiarize yourself with this position. Anytime he's on his edge like this, first thing I want to do is bring my knee in between his legs, right, into this little space right here in between his arms and his leg. I want to have my knee in there to increase my control, right? So like I said, a lot of times they'll give you this position, but today we're enforcing, we're creating this position, right? So now for the submission, this is how it's going to look. Let's go down. Okay, we're going to go for a sub. The submission is going to be a reverse Kimura. Okay, so it's going to be a little different. So when I come here, I pull him up. I've got my knee in. See how my control is still on the shoulder? All I'm going to do, I need to make sure that his arm stays in front. So I need to stay tight. If I'm kind of far away, he can just bring his arm around here and I'll lose everything. So when I'm here, I'm keeping everything nice and tight, right? So my control now is going to go from his shoulder, right, to his tricep, right? So right where his elbow's bent, I'm grabbing right on his tricep. So it didn't move much. It moved from here to here, not far. Really easy. So you don't have to worry about losing the control. If I'm in here, boom, I just make a small adjustment, okay? So now this hand, if he starts to move too much, right, I can just stiff arm his neck, right, just to keep him still for a little while. This hand is gonna come around and I'm grabbing his wrist here. So I have control on his tricep. I reach and I grab his wrist. And now the hand that's on his tricep, I grab my own bicep. So I'm like this here. Here, grab the wrist, this hand, grab the tricep, okay? So now, oh, sorry, I missed a step, sorry. Let me retract just a little bit, I missed a step. Okay, so when I pull him up here, right, instead of bringing the knee here, we're gonna whip this leg all the way around, okay? So now it comes up, bring the knee here, I can stiff arm, I'm just bringing this around. If you wanna drive, you can also drive it over and kick it if you wanna clear it that way. If you have the flexibility to just bring it around, that works too. Okay, either way, drive it over, step. All right, so now we're in this position. I have one leg over. I'm still pulling them up really here. Okay, I'm gonna reach over, grabbing his wrist, grabbing my own bicep, and I'm gonna get the tap here. So it doesn't take much. I'm just really tight here, and I'm just twerking it behind his, just torquing it up by his head, towards behind his head there, okay? Sorry about that. All right, check it out. One more time. I'm in here, pull him up, my knee's here, right? I need to get that over his leg. If I'm worried, Lalo has really long legs, right? So instead of trying to bring it over his legs where he may catch, all I have to do is drive my knee halfway over and then slam across, okay, for the control here. So I got my foot on this side. I got control on the tricep now, not the shoulder anymore, the tricep. This hand grabs the wrist. This hand grabs my own bicep. I want to stay tall too, okay? So don't try to finish when you crunch down here. Pull him up tall first, and you get the tap there. Return.